I'm going to read one longer poem that's in 3 parts and one shorter poem. My name's Joshua. This is a poem in 3 parts. It's called The Fire Sermon. The first part is called Red Epic, which is also the title of the book. Mediators, matadors, how trivial and objective this world is. Semiologists, stevedores, how objective and trivial. Equally fucked we are. Well, not equally. I have an MCM aesthetic and a radio-controlled death drive. There are 2 parties to every romance, the waged and the wager. And it has been getting harder to decipher the difference. A throw of the dice will never reveal the real subject. Oh, mediators, stevedores, etc. Madrid is sometimes in flames, though confusingly the Spanish stairs are in Rome, which is often in flames. Oakland is sometimes pleasingly in flames. Athens is almost always aflame, also Thessaloniki. Big data murmurs to me the likelihood that at a given profit rate, in a given sector, a given household debt, a given wage deflation, a given neighborhood would be in flames, given fire is the unfettered substance of the situation. To begin again from the beginning, to write only for one's friends, 2 lovers make a 0, 2 speculations make a hedge. If tender buttons had been written by capital, instead of objects, food, rooms, they would have a single section called labor power. Though technical language is not conducive to enlisting popular support, if lunch poems were the poetry of the future, it would be all like, I communize this, I communize that. Part 2, Transistor. There will be a revolution, or there will not. If the latter, these poems were nothing but entertainments. If the former, it will succeed or fail. If the latter, these poems were better than nothing. If the former, it will feature riots, fire, and looting, and these will spread. Or they will not. If the latter, these poems were curiosities. If the former, it will feature further riots, manifestos, barricades, and slogans, and these will leap into popular songs, or they will not. If the latter, that's that. If the former, these popular songs will be overcome, or they will not. If the latter, these poems were no different than the songs. If the former, the popular itself will be abolished via riots, barricades, manifestos, occupations, and fire, or it will not. If the latter, we will spend several more decades talking about culture. If the former, the revolution will at this point be destroyed from within or without. If the latter, these poems went down fighting. If the former, it will feature awful confrontations with former friends, and there will be further manifestos, new slogans, ongoing occupations, and communes, and lovers will be enemies. We do not know what will happen after this point, but surely this is enough to draw some preliminary conclusions. The poem must be on the side of riots, looting, barricades, occupations, manifestos, communes, slogans, fire, and enemies. 3. Poem ending with a line from Niedecker. I keep my mind under my arm, where I hold my head. When I walk down to market, when I walk down to the market, the actions are social, but the mind is private. When I walk down to the inferno, the mind is private. I had a vision, the mind is privately held under my arm. When I walk, I had a dream, had a Baudelaire, had a Rimbaud. The action is social, but Apollinaire walks down, he promenades down to market, promenades in the market, walks out, walks home, walks through streets named after market towns. The names are social, but the century is private. The inferno is social, but the mind follows the head, thinks we can leave, thinks we can go down to the market and leave, just leave, thinks we can be in it, but not of it. You know all too well that the best poetry is not the least revolution. You know also that poetry is the best way available to you to affirm this truth. Now we start to see how the trap is sprung, how it was sprung and all before you were born, mined under your arm in the poetry market that exists, despite the spontaneous wailings of the poets, who believe there must be no market because they cannot afford that for which they should not have to pay. The action is social, but the market exists as the secret police exist. Alas, the market will never send you to jail for your poems, though we all believed in private that we were worth jailing for the terrible sedition of our dithyrambs, believe we deserve this honor in a no passaran todos somos pussy riot sort of way, yet the good reader geared for riot, zip ties dangling, cometh not for us. The world of the poem is the world. The world is abstract and real. The poem fails just when it is victorious, because one cannot live the absolute of victory over the sun until one can, and we do, and many will die when this happens. Poetry will be renewed in the blood of the negative and dreadfully much else. This is a poem called Hexaity, which is a word that doesn't really exist in English. It could probably be translated as thisness. And it's drawn from my favorite Diane de Prima poem. If what you want is calm, to be restored, you are still the enemy. You have not thought through clearly what that means. If what you want is a national moment of silence, the indictment of a single police officer, or 2 or 3, you are still the enemy. You have chosen the reverie of law for you and your friends. If you want another review panel, a Justice Department study, a return to democracy rather than for riot and looting to leap beyond itself from county to county, rift to rift until it becomes general, you have not understood what a revolution is. It's just this. It's coming out again, night after night, more of us than there are of them. It's saying no to every deal. Remember, nothing belongs to you because nothing belongs to anyone. Thank you.